Breaking news for every senior and every family relying on Social Security. Your payment schedule is about to change in October, and if you're not ready, you could be left wondering where your money went. But don't worry, I've got you covered. This channel is made only for you, the people depending on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and pension updates. I'll keep you one step ahead with every single change so you'll never be caught off guard again. So, before we dive into the shocking new October schedule, hit that subscribe button right now and join the community that's here to protect your benefits because this channel is your channel. Breaking news is shaking up millions of households across the country. And if you or someone in your family depends on Social Security or SSI benefits, you need to hear this right now because October is not going to look the same as every other month. For years, people have relied on their benefits to arrive on time like clockwork. But suddenly, the calendar and the way the Social Security Administration handles payments around holidays and weekends are colliding in a way that could leave some people confused, stressed, or even panicking if they're not prepared. That's why today, I'm here to break everything down in simple, clear language so you'll know exactly what's happening, why it's happening, and most importantly, how you can be ready so that not a single dollar you depend on goes missing or leaves you unprepared. This isn't just information, it's potentially life-changing if you rely on these checks to keep a roof over your head, put food on the table, or cover your prescriptions. Because October brings with it one of those rare moments where the payment schedule bends in a way most people are not expecting. For many seniors, people with disabilities, and low-income families, Social Security and SSI are more than just numbers in a bank account. They are the lifeline that makes survival possible. The promise that after years of hard work, taxes, and contributions, there will be some stability in old age or during difficult times. But what happens when that routine is suddenly shifted? What happens when the money comes early one month, not at all another month, or doubles up in a way that might look good at first, but actually means you'll need to stretch that income further than you think? That's exactly what's unfolding this October. And unless you know the new schedule, you might make the wrong budgeting move. You might miscalculate when your rent is due versus when your deposit shows up. And you might even panic when you realize November doesn't bring a fresh SSI deposit the way you've been trained to expect. So lean in, pay attention, and don't click away, because this is the kind of update that could save you a lot of stress. Now here's the truth. The Social Security Administration isn't changing the system forever, but the calendar itself is forcing some adjustments. The key lies in how weekends and holidays interact with fixed payment dates. For SSI, benefits are normally issued on the first of the month, unless that day falls on a weekend or federal holiday, in which case the money comes early. That might sound harmless, maybe even nice to get your money ahead of time. But here's the catch. When you get it early, you don't get another deposit in the next month. And that is the twist hitting millions of SSI recipients in October. People will see two deposits in one month, one on October 1st and another on October 31st, and then nothing. When November rolls around, imagine checking your bank account on November 1st, expecting that usual deposit and seeing absolutely nothing. For people living paycheck to paycheck, for seniors balancing rent, utilities, and groceries, that kind of shock can be devastating if they don't know ahead of time, and it's not just SSI. Social Security, retirement, disability, and survivor benefits follow a slightly different rhythm. For those whose birthdays fall between the 1st and the 10th, the deposit always hits on the second Wednesday of the month. For those born between the 11th and the 20th, it's the third Wednesday. And for birthdays between the 21st and the 31st, it's the fourth Wednesday. This month, that means payments are going out on October 8th, October 15th, and October 22nd. Meanwhile, people who have been on Social Security since before May of 1997, or those receiving both SSI and Social Security together, will get their check on October 3rd. So, yes, there are layers to this, and each layer matters depending on your unique situation. Picture this scenario. You're someone who started receiving Social Security back in the 1990s, and every month your benefit arrives like clockwork on the 3. You don't really think about it anymore. It's routine, reliable, safe. But then you hear the news that payment schedules are shifting in October, and suddenly you're wondering, does this mean I won't see my money? Will it come later, earlier? What about November? And that confusion, that anxiety can weigh heavily on people who are already carrying the stress of making ends meet on a fixed income. That's why I'm here, not just to tell you the schedule, but to remind you that your benefit is secure. The money isn't disappearing, it's just moving, shifting across the calendar. The key is to be aware so you don't feel blindsided. And to everyone watching right now, let me pause for a moment to say something important. If this information matters to you, if you depend on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, then you need to be subscribed to this channel. I'm not saying this for me. I'm saying this for you because I will be here every week, breaking down the truth, cutting through the confusion, and making sure you're never caught off guard by government changes, payment shifts, or sudden policy updates. Think about it. Wouldn't it feel safer knowing someone is watching the calendar for you, explaining it in plain language and keeping you one step ahead? That's why. This channel exists, and that's why subscribing is like building yourself a safety net of information. This channel is not for everyone. It's for you, the people who need to know these updates because they directly affect your daily life. And to everyone watching right now, let me pause for a moment to say something important. If this information matters to you, if you depend on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, then you need to be subscribed to this channel. I'm not saying this for me, I'm saying this for you because I will be here every week breaking down the truth, cutting through the confusion, and making sure you're never caught off guard by government changes, payment shifts, or sudden policy updates. Think about it. Wouldn't it feel safer knowing someone is watching the calendar for you, explaining it in plain language, and keeping you one step ahead? That's why this channel exists, and that's why subscribing is like building yourself a safety net of information. This channel is not for everyone. It's for you, the people who need to know these updates, because they directly affect your daily life. Let's come back to the October story. For SSI recipients, that second payment on October 31st is technically your November money. That means when you look at your bank statement in November and it feels like the system skipped you, remember it didn't. It just came early. It's a cruel trick of the calendar and many people get tripped up by it. Last time this happened, thousands of people flooded call centers and banks thinking their benefits had been stolen or cut. Don't let that be you. Awareness is the difference between panic and peace of mind. And it's not just the dates that matter. Think about the ripple effects. Landlords, utility companies, and lenders don't move their due dates just because Social Security shifted yours. If your rent is due November 5th, your SSI deposit that normally arrives November 1st won't be there. You'll need to rely on the October 31st payment to cover it, which means you'll need to hold on to that money even if it's tempting to use it right away. This is where discipline comes in. Budgeting isn't just about knowing your numbers. It's about timing. And October forces you to think like a chess player, one step ahead, not just reacting to the present. Some people might hear this and say, well, it's just 1 month. What's the big deal? But anyone living on a fixed income knows the big deal. A few. Days without money can mean late fees, overdrafts, skipped medications, or going without heat or electricity. It's not a small inconvenience. It's the difference between stability and crisis. That's why these updates are not just about dates. They're about survival strategies. October is your warning bell, and November is your test. So here's my advice, spoken from experience and from watching these cycles repeat year after year. Treat the October 31st payment as untouchable until November begins. Pretend it doesn't exist. Set it aside and remind yourself that's not bonus money, that's survival money. If you can build that habit, you'll thank yourself when November rolls in and you're not left scrambling. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Why does this keep happening? Why can't Social Security just issue payments on weekends or holidays? The answer is simple. Banks and the federal system don't process deposits on non-business days. So the Social Security Administration has to push payments forward to the last business day before the weekend or holiday. That's why these shifts happen, and they will continue to happen every year when the calendar aligns in this way. It's not corruption, it's not mismanagement, it's just the rules of the financial system. But while the system is rigid, you can be flexible if you know the rules ahead of time. And that's the entire point of this video, arming you with knowledge so the calendar never catches you off guard again. Think of October as both a challenge and a training ground. It challenges you to budget differently, but it also trains you to prepare for these shifts in the future because this isn't the last time it will happen. Every year or two, the same pattern repeats. And each time, thousands of people forget and fall into the same trap. But you watching right now won't be one of them because you'll remember this message. And as we wrap this up, I want you to ask yourself one question. What would it mean to you if you never had to wonder about your Social Security check again? If you never had to guess when it was coming or why it came early or why it seemed missing? That's what this channel is here to provide. Clarity, security, peace of mind. So, subscribe now, not because I'm asking, but because you deserve to feel safe and informed in a world where so much is uncertain. October will be unusual. November will feel strange. But with the knowledge you now hold, you won't be caught off guard. 2 payments in October, none in November. That's the truth.